Well, we've talked a lot about preparing for the actual argument to be presented in the case during your competition of the ABA arbitration tournament. Now we come to the beginning of the presentation, your opening statement. The place to start in thinking about an opening statement, or really any aspect of your presentation, is to take a look at the judges' scoring sheets. You'll find these in the back of the rules of the tournament that are published each year. For the opening statement, the judges' score sheet looks for the student to be well organized and structured in its opening statement. So your objective is to organize a short, maybe 5 to 7 minutes, concise summary of your case. You want to tell the story. You want to tell the factual story. Be sure you give a sufficient factual background so that the arbitration panel is with you, that they understand the basic story that they are going to hear about in the case. By all means, in your opening statement, cite the law that you have available to you. Every year, the record package for the case will contain usually 1 or 2 statutory references and 3 or 4 case precedents that students can use in the course of their presentations. You'll find that they are usually quite well balanced, so that if there are 4 cases described in your materials, 2 of them will favor the claimant and the other 2 will favor the respondent's arguments. So during your opening, by all means, cite the law that supports your argument. Describe for the panel the 2 witnesses that you will be calling, who they are, and what the panel can expect to hear from each witness. Give a brief summary of the facts that each witness will be testifying about. Now, that's it. That story, telling a story, citing applicable law, and giving a forecast for the panel of the witnesses that will be heard, can usually cover 5 to 7 minutes fairly quickly. So this is an exercise in being concise, to not rambling on. This is not the opportunity for a closing statement or a detailed discussion of the law. This is the place where you get to introduce your story in its most favorable light. It's one of the 2 set pieces of the tournament competition. You can write this opening statement well in advance of the competition itself. You can write it as soon as you receive the case and have an opportunity to review the case and decide with your team which student is going to be playing which role. Next, think about a theme for your presentation. This is a time-honored tradition in this tournament, I know, and it's also a useful device for the presentation of any complicated case, and that is to have an easy-to-remember theme that boils down perhaps your argument in just a couple or a few words. Make it catchy. This is a case that, and then complete the sentence. This case is a straightforward contract enforcement matter. That's not very catchy, but if you are making an argument that the case is straightforward, you are simply enforcing the clear terms of a contract, then that's your theme. We had a recent theme was, this is a case about a renter who was aware but didn't care. Okay, they were making an argument about a renter who had rented a seaside property, but was from a wealthy family and didn't care or exercise any duty of care around the property which was damaged. Another theme we heard was, from the other side, this is a renter's worst nightmare come true. Okay, think about a theme for your case. At the conclusion of your opening statement, by all means offer to answer any questions that the panel may have. Now, expect that judges may interrupt you during your opening statement. That's happens frequently, and that's fine. Be prepared for that. When they do ask a question, stop your presentation and address the question. We had one judge in a recent tournament, right in the middle of the student's first opening statement, cites the one case that was supporting her legal argument, and the judge interrupted and said, "Well, counsel, how do you distinguish this other case?" Now, the student was good on her feet and had a good answer and said, well, that case is not applicable because of X, Y, or Z, and my co-counsel will address that particular point of law during his closing statement. And you can ask if there's any other question. The arbitrators will probably let you go on and finish your opening statement. But when you get to the end of your statement, it's only a 5 or 7 minute statement. By all means, ask if the panel has any questions about you before you proceed with your case. The best opening statements, I think, give the arbitration panel a clear, almost visual roadmap to your case. So highlight facts that are important. Give the panel, I think of them as places where the panel can hold on to your case and remember. Handholds, so that, if you told the panel that there were just 3 facts that you wanted them to keep in mind and to remember as they hear testimony, give them A, B, C, and that may be all of the sort of factual argument that you want to make in your opening statement. Forecast the testimony that the panel will hear from your witnesses. The panel will hear from our first witness, Ms. Smith, who will describe the storm damage that was observed when she first arrived at the rental property. And then in conclusion, make it clear that your co-counsel, who you've introduced to the panel, will analyze in detail the applicable law that supports the facts that the panel will hear about from your witnesses. So an opening statement can be quite well rehearsed set piece. I would encourage you to memorize it so that you don't spend a lot of time looking at your notes with your head down. Deliver it on your feet if you can. Hold forth. Be very confident and sure as you lead the arbitration panel through the introduction to your case. This is one of the most important set pieces of the entire tournament.